I can only talk from the heart and talk about being in my skin and my life. So, you know, like I was saying as well, blessed to be part of this project. Definitely of conversation that needs to happen more. My journey really with mental health started before mental health was a thing. You know, growing up, it wasn't a thing in like in our cultures and different cultures. Like my family's Guyanese, like my mum's Guyanese and that, and it doesn't exist. It's like, you know, get on with it. You know, you're weak. You gotta just snap out of it, get over it. So growing up with some of the things I've had to deal with, it's always been really hard. And like I've been through some next stuff. I don't want to start the thing off too deep because, you know, I don't want to, you know, say it on a Debbie Downer, as they say. But, you know, I've been through some traumatic stuff like from a kid and whatnot, and just used to get beat. You know what it's like in our certain cultures and that you just get beat like as normal. Like I never thought nothing of it. And then the beatings were kind of used against me to stop me talking about the things that were happening to me. And I was scared to tell my mum because I just thought I was going to get beats. And, you know, and so this is part of the reason why we're trying to like open the conversation, because you should be allowed. Sorry, people still can't get in. What's going on? I can't hear you, Gary, huh?
Justina, can you make Rohan the host?
Am I in charge of that?
Yeah, you're in charge. Yeah.
1 sec. Sorry, guys. Only because well, I can't see I can't see them trying to get in. They're saying that there's a password or something, but there was no password for anybody else to get in, was there?
Yeah, there was. I'll put the password in and you can text a little bit.
Yeah, well, people are missing me though, Gary. You know, there's like 3 people probably trying to get in right now. Anyway, so
who are they? Who are they trying to get in?
Life in the lockdown gang and that.
Okay, all right. I'll sort it out.
All right, please. Yeah. Sorry, where was he at now? My bad. Yeah, talking about like mental health growing up and whatnot, and it not being accepted. So obviously, in certain cultures, and that's the thing we're talking about, like trying to take away the stigma. Like I was never allowed to say anything. When I finally did, when I was like 18, 19, I told my mum, and she basically didn't believe me. But like years later, I realized it's because she couldn't accept it. But I was supposed to just get on with it. But then as well, it's like one of them things, you know, you just never spoke about it again. Like it didn't exist. Like it don't exist. Like mental health doesn't exist in certain cultures, and this is part of. So my phone won't stop going off. It's really distracting. I'm trying to talk. So it's really obviously hard to even try and speak to anyone because you can't. You know, you're supposed to be strong. You've got to be this certain type of character. I mean, like I said, my family's Guyanese, and I only have that side of the family. I don't have the other side. Like I call my dad a magician because he disappeared, and so it's just all the other side, and they just don't understand even to this day. You know, when I was an adult as well, like I was attacked, for a better word, and I didn't tell my mum or my family or anything at first because obviously they're just gonna judge me and not understand, and you know. And then about 3 months in, I told my mum because I had to, because the police were involved, and she basically told me it was my fault for going on nights out, even though I was walking somewhere, attacked by a stranger. But obviously, you know, it's my fault. So it's like, so if it's my fault as an adult, is it my fault? Is it your fault when I was a kid? That, you know, so, but it's just again one of the things that was never spoken about, just left. You know, you just get on with it. Like 2 days later, after my mum found out, she said, "Don't you know, life goes on, get over it." So I think it's just like a thing in our culture that it's just, you know, you're supposed to be the strong person and supposed to get on with it. So then I felt weak. Like, how am I supposed to admit that I'm struggling when I'm not allowed to admit that? I'm not allowed to be weak. I'm not allowed to say, you know, I'm not okay. So I tried to act like everything was okay. Then about 3 months later, I tried to end it all. Ended up in hospital for like 8.5 weeks. And even still then, like my family still can't understand it. Like I'm mental, like, you know, and then I got diagnosed with PTSD, depression and anxiety, and I couldn't accept it myself for like probably about 2 years. I couldn't accept it because afterwards, in hindsight, I realised because I was never allowed to accept anymore. I was never allowed to be like, so how am I supposed to accept it? And then I started reading some books, and like then, because I used to always say, they say I've got PTSD, they say like I've got depression, like, you know, was reluctant to take medication, all that, and then reading stuff, like I really do believe knowledge is power. So I do, you know, there's things like this as well where we can share, we can, you know, relate and people understand. That's how I started to accept like when I read these 2 books I read, yeah, and like I just was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. This is, this is why I'm feeling like this. And then it finally was the first time I accepted it and started to be able to move on with it. But like still in my family, it's still, like after about 2 years taking medication, my mom was like, well, you can come off it now, innit? You've been on it for long enough, you're alright, innit? Like, but I'm always putting on a show for them. So they never really know what I'm like, because you're not allowed to, you won't let me be what I'm like, So I think it's just these strict cultures and that. But I think times are changing, because obviously, like I said, when I started like this life, things weren't as open as they are now. Hence why we're doing all this. I was going to show some artwork, but I've completely forgotten. But yeah, basically, it's just obviously just trying to encourage people. As you know, I'm an artist, and to be honest, that's what's kept me going. My art has been like my savior in a way, because it's always been there. It's always been something I go to and use to, I suppose, express myself. Pages in my diary, So I definitely recommend that for people. But yeah, just encouraging people to talk, be open, and don't be like how we were brought up, and how be to make things better and strict. You're not allowed to speak, and just change the conversation like we're trying to do now, which is brilliant. I'm probably waffling and chatting a lot of rubbish, but it's really hard to concentrate on my phone once it's not going off. But yeah, I don't know what else to say unless you want to see some artwork, but it's probably not much time left. Oh, I could show you the picture actually that I did for the event, for this event, which is actually by one of our I used a picture from one of the speakers we got on later. Her name's Alima Faye. She's got a photography book about black mental health in men, and so I referenced one of her images to paint this to make for the event today. So obviously it's a bit what I do, and then I did this one as well that day with everything obviously that what happened. I wrote a poem as well actually. Maybe if I've got another minute I could read the poem that I wrote, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
go
well,
for it.
it's called Me, and it's about like basically me. One sec, just opening it up. I think you should sing or something while I'm on. Right. Okay. Why is it necessary to know the color under my skin? No answer could ever really win, especially when you can't see the person within. Beauty isn't only skin deep, but my skin is all you can see. Does a lack of melatonin change my personality? But if you was blind, then maybe you would really see. A shade of color is not my identity. We all bleed the same, all cry tears of pain. Anguish doesn't preference color, heartbreak is not distinguished by race. Are you deciding on how to treat me? Will it be different to what you think you see? Talk down to me or maybe miss me completely? I'm not a racist, but it's how all your sentences begin. At the same time, my heritage is important to me. It shouldn't define the way you treat me. I didn't choose this name nor body. God just blessed me this way. I refuse to apologize for just being me. So yeah, I don't know, that's a... Thanks.
Yo, say that last line again, please. Tell them in the back. They didn't hear you in the back.
And I refuse to apologize for being me. And
That's
all
the
none of
one
us
right
should.
there.
And we only know what's saying. That's what I said. I don't really know what to say. I only know what being in my skin, and being like got half Guyanese and half a douchebag. All I can talk about is that. And also because I'm saying like, I'm a different color to my mum, and that's another thing like with the whole race thing people don't understand, which I'll quickly touch on because like I only found out that I got found out, but literally I didn't know I was different color to my mum because obviously it's my mum. I grew up, and then like kids would be like, "You adopted?" Like, what are you talking about? We're like, "Well, that's not your mum." Like, why? And then I asked my mum, and I look the same as my mum, literally, yeah, just different color. And then like they'll be like, "Oh, because you're not the same color." People don't understand. My mum's like, people are just a bit dumb, like. And then you get treated differently. Then once people know, oh, you're mixed race. Oh, so what does that matter? And then that whole thing of like that my poem about people always, well, where are you from? Well, what race are you? What, can I touch your hair? No, you can't. Move from me. It will grow soon. You won't recognize me. It's still drying out.
Listen, that hair one right there. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that having an afro, everybody want to touch it. It's emotional. But you know what though? Like, we need to realize that black comes in different shades. You know what I'm saying? Black comes in different shades, and like at the end of the day, melanin is melanin. Like, if you want to talk scientifically, it just makes your skin darker. Like, that's what melanin is. So, you know, we just need to appreciate our skin color. But listen, I
It's
feel you.
banter in our family. Like my mum calls us microwave jobs because like we're so pale and that. Because like all me and my brothers, I know, but like we're so used to it. It's like a joke thing. But my dad's ginger, like you know, bare pale. So obviously I've got that from him. But it's just why should it matter? But it always seems to matter.
I think because people, or I say people, society sees color before they see human.
Or they change their perception of you once they like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because trust me, that like what's that about? Why is that? You know,
yeah.